Welcome back to a new episode of Run It Back, and we're going to hit up a 1993 movie this time. The Program. It's a football movie that nobody seems to talk about, but I've always thought was a pretty good movie. As always, I'm your boy Prime. Got my dude Source. How you feeling, bro?
What up, bro? Chilling. Yeah, we getting into this football season. We got the NFL right around the corner. College just started, and high school just started really in the area. So we getting into the thick of things, and figure we get into some football action right before the season starts. So we brought in my flag football bro for years and years. We both played QB, both left-handed. Uh, you know, he a little younger than me, so and he still got some years in him. My man Chauncey Payne, what's up, bro?
Oh, no. What's going on? I don't know about how many more years left, that's for sure.
Chazzy, what's good, bro?
What's going on, man? Appreciate y'all inviting me.
Man, appreciate you. You coming on, man. You talked about you wanted to come on. You're here, man. We are glad, man. Let's get into this thing, y'all. So, in this movie, it's a movie that stars several people that a lot of people know. The legendary James Caan. We got Omar Epps in this movie. The lovely Halle Berry, Craig Schaefer, Caroline Schaefer. It's just a lot of people in this movie. More people than we really need to name, really. But those are the main characters in this movie. And like I say, movie came out in 1993, and it pretty much follows a program that the main premise of the movie is them actually making it back to a bowl game. And that's really it right there. We got a team that spent about 2 years since they made a bowl game. Beginning of this movie, it looks like they have a shot to do it. They're out there playing in the pouring rain. The elements are definitely there, a lot on the line, but they just fall short. When everything at the end of the first scene of this movie. Source, what were your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it reminded me of Blue Chips. This was like this was before Blue Chips, I believe, and it reminded me of Blue Chips because same premise where the team isn't as good for a couple seasons, and the boosters and the school is all worried about money and all that type stuff, and they trying to get back on top like they were previously. Two legendary coaches, according to their programs, and yeah, they're just trying to get back to their winning ways. So they got to do some recruiting, and it also both coaches are kind of like, as far as we see them, they're trying to be straight laced. They're trying to be straight and not
Mm.
not use the tricks and trades that you have when you're dealing with college level sports. Um, but that gets tested as the movie goes on in both cases. CP, what do you think about the beginning of this joint?
Yeah, it just showed that, like I said, the weather conditions, and also showed that the team was real young. As like you said, Joe Kane was what, a sophomore,
Yeah.
and then you see some of the people come back. Later on in the movie, you find out Alvin Maxson Senior. So I mean, he was a junior. So and they were young, but they were still good. It was just he's had, I guess, a couple of bad breaks, but yeah, it was definitely a good lead up to what was to come.
Yeah, coach's job on the line. And so, as you mentioned, the blue chips thing, which we did on Running Back, these movies were made a year apart. So,
Uh,
it's just funny when we were right at the height of really digging into, things that go on behind the scenes as far as, recruiting and, looking the other way and just to survive and being a coach at a major program. This in this case, the school was Eastern State University, pretty much a fictional school. But we get to see in this movie that they put them up there with the big boys. I mean, they play the Mississippi States and the Michigans and the Georgia Tech. They play they play
Iowa.
D1 schools. Yeah, so. But at the end of the season, so when they lose this game, coach's job is definitely on the line. Everybody knows it's on the line. One of the questions that comes up is, are they going to go out and look for a running back? They feel like they need a new running back there, so they go out and try to recruit this kid, Donnell Jefferson, of course, played by Omar Epps. And my first thought was when I saw this was, okay, we've seen this before, but then I noticed that the quarterback is on a recruiting trip, and you got to think about it. This is a quarterback who's just coming off his sophomore season. So we're not talking about a kid that was a junior or a senior. He, that had played a junior season or, was a senior. This is a guy who just came off his sophomore campaign, and they take him with them on a recruiting trip. So I'm like, this is wild, right? This is wild. But we meet Donnell Jefferson, and his journey in this movie kind of starts from right there.
Man, you talk about that trip. Yeah, I don't think I realized that Joe Kane was on the trip. Well, it didn't resonate with me until I just watched the movie. I was like, hold on, bro. They took the quarterback on a recruiting jump. Like, you know he's the man when you go that far. But they had more people at the table from the school than he had in his family, like at the table. Of course, in the background, you see there's about 20 kids in the background looking. But yeah, it was just him and the pastor that I guess took him in.
Yeah.
Is that what y'all understood it as?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so the pastor took him in, and the other kids, I guess he was just trying to do the best for him, and he didn't have any family left.
That was interesting. Did you guys realize that they shot this thing at like 6 or 7 different schools?
No, I didn't. I know the stadium they used was South Carolina.
Yeah. That was South Carolina Stadium, but they shot
University of South Carolina football stadium.
Yeah. They shot other bits of this at Duke, Boston College, Michigan. I think I want to tell you I saw Iowa. But this movie was shot like at a ton of different schools and the different scenes, things. And maybe some of it was just in the football aspect, but some of it from the campus aspect as well. So it was at least 6 or 7 schools represented one way or another in this actual film. Another thing that stands out to me, so first of all, we found out Donnell Jefferson must be pretty decent because Michigan is mentioned on the recruiting trip. When Coach Winters goes down and he's like, at Michigan, you got to sit behind 2 other backs, but for here, it's like an opportunity to play right away. So I said, okay, he must be somewhat of a big deal. He got schools like Michigan knocking on his door. But what tripped me out even more about not just him, but I'll just say Halle Berry's character, Autumn, right? So she takes him, she's his guide, I guess, when he comes down to visit the school and the whole recruiting trip. And we see him pull up. They got the cheerleaders out there when he gets off the bus, chanting his name. They do the whole thing that we see now with the kids will go visit the schools and they walk in the stadium and they got the name up there or the announcer saying the name or whatever. But what trips me out, and I ain't trying to cast shade on her, Halle, because we know she's been a national treasure for a lot of us for years, but her character. So all they do is go on a tour, and by the end of the tour, my man gets a kiss already. I'm like,
did he really get a kiss, or did he take a kiss?
No, but she kissed him back.
She backed up, bro. She backed up twice.
But she kissed him though. Like, was that you trying to figure out, one, okay, maybe was the attraction there, or two, look, we trying to get this dude to really, keep his commitment and stay here. I just got to do this, so I'm in the good graces of the faculty. I don't know, but
I got a question for y'all though.
Yeah.
So I don't know how in depth y'all really looked at that the opening scene, but if you remember Griffin is the one that dropped the pass in the end zone when in the rain game, right?
Never caught that.
He's the one that dropped the pass. Now, Joe Kane, his quarterback, set him up on a recruiting trip with the guy that's about to come recruit. He recruited, and he knew that's his girl.
That's deep.
That don't sound a little fishy to you?
That's deep. That's deep. That's it right there. I've seen this movie tons of times. I never caught that, yo.
I didn't realize who it was. Even just watching the joint, I was like, and then you see the 2 DB, I was like, oh, he set him up.
And it make a lot of sense too, because you remember when they were asking him about what the coach was going to do next year. The dude brings up, you need a running back. You need, it's like basically something just happened. This dude screws up, messes up already. 2 minutes after the game, or during the press conference, they're asking you about the running back. So it's interesting. That's deep
Yeah.
right there. So yeah, it's crazy, but what's even crazier? So I mean, time passes. So when he actually, he's committed to the school and he goes back to the school, he thinking everything, the vibe and everything is going to be the same. It's a little different at this time with Autumn because she explains that she has the boyfriend. The old boy is a boyfriend, and of course she's supposed to be a little upset with him. I guess he's supposed to have cheated on her, or whatever. So back then, was there such thing as it's
What?
complicated? Like was that a thing back then?
If it was, that was the first example.
So we just missed the gym. A lot of people that missed the gym with it's complicated originated in this movie, right?
Yeah, that's true.
93.
And yeah, so but the characters in this movie are crazy. So we know Donnell's story. We meet Mac, of course, who's functionally illiterate for the most part. This guy's just pretty much gotten over because he is a player, most likely destined from the NFL. And and you got to think about honestly though how many people go through what he's gone through. Like they did a great job, I think, in this movie of you know showing us that there are players that come out there that come in from all these situations. I mean, obviously when they showed his family,
Mhm.
it was the house was an old rundown house, and he wanted to take care of his mama. He had big dreams, man. He had real big dreams in
Yeah.
this thing, and of course, we found out later for him it doesn't quite go that way, man. But it's kind of heartbreaking to be honest with you.
100%. And shout out to it was played by Dwayne Davis. Alvin Mack was played by Dwayne Davis, and he played that character. He played the illiterate, not that bright linebacker, type. But he also, when he was in that film room, he knew every play, everything that needed to be done, and he was quick on his job. So it's not like he was a dumb person necessarily. He just wasn't. He was illiterate, like
Yeah,
legit.
book smart. Yeah.
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 So yeah, that
He
was the
was an
thing.
X's and O's kind of guy.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And I got a feel for the guy though. And we meet your boy. Well, before we get off of him, you remember there were shades we would see later of any given Sunday, which we also did on Run It Back. And when your boy's out there, talking smack to whoever's lined up in front of him. You think remember Lawrence Taylor's character and in any given Sunday, and he talking smack to the guys in front of him, the quarterback, you stick, blah blah blah, this and that. So years later, I mean years before we got any given Sunday, we got this.
True.
Yeah. And then Latimer, man, your boy Latimer. So this dude, man, like it's a crazy story with him. Like you think about the guys, you know what I'm saying? You think about the guys that end up doping up and stuff to try to, to play the game. And this guy, what he gained with a 35, what did he say, 35
35
pounds?
pounds of muscle
And look,
and an attitude.
Coach Winters knew what was going on, but he just kind of ain't want to walk that road. Remember when the coaches,
Yeah.
the offensive coaches, and everybody's like, dude, he got to be juicing. He got to be on something. And Coach Winters brushes him off like, basically, no, they can happen. If you work hard, that's what happens when you work hard in the off season. He knew what time it
So
was.
they tested him.
I mean, say
He wasn't
innocent
promoting
until
it. He wasn't
proven
anything to save
guilty.
my job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knew his job was on the line. He said innocent until proven guilty. You can't prove that he is doing anything wrong. So until you can, he all good with me.
Yeah,
Indeed.
but it's real hard to gain 35 pounds of muscle in the off season.
You're
I don't
right.
care how many dumplings, chicken and dumplings, potatoes. I don't care what type of weight gain, whey protein. I don't care what you do. 35 pounds, bro, of
Yeah,
solid
Yeah,
muscle
so he
like
was on
that.
the special team for 3 years.
Yeah.
but you know what though? Well, you think about the fact that players like players in the league or whatever level they played at,
Mm-hmm.
when they get to like 50 or whatever age, and they start breaking down physically and mentally, a lot of them that I've heard say mention things about this say that even if I knew back then that doing whatever supplement or whatever steroids, whatever the case may be, knowing that
Steroid addict.
I'm gonna be struggling at 50. I'm changing my I'm changing my people's lives. So I'm trying to get to this money and I'm putting myself on the
Yeah,
line for that. And also just the dream of I want to be the guy. I want to play football. And this dude was a bum, not
yeah.
a bum. He was a special teams player, and he wanted to be a star. And this is his way to become a star. It wasn't even about money for him. Well, it never was mentioned anyway that I remember.
Well, I don't know quite when I think something I'm gonna touch on a little bit later. It could have been sort of about the money situation. Um, it's a point I'm gonna
Him?
bring up later on that, right?
Hmm.
But well, as this whole thing concerned, I guess out of all of the guys that we meet, you feel bad for Mac. You look at Kane though. So, Joe Kane, you know, out off the football field, just hothead, daredevil type cat, living on the edge of life, But and we find out the real reason he does that because it's outside of football. Football really all he has right now, feelings wise.
That's
When he's
all
on the
they have.
football field, he's completely comfortable. He's 100, with himself. He's at peace. Off the football field, he doesn't, he can't really have a relationship that he wants with his father. His father's just obviously been through a lot of stuff, hard times, and I don't know if he blames Joe for it, but it's just like whatever happened to him has just consumed him enough where he has very little interest in what Joe does. Joe was on the verge of becoming a millionaire, to be honest with you, and his dad just like, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
oh well, So whatever happened to him, it really happened to him, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's one of them
Yeah.
yeah. His
situations
home
that
life is
maybe
terrible.
wife passed. I don't know what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead, CP.
I said, yeah, his home life was terrible. 'Cause, like, only thing he really wanted was, like you said, his dad never saw him play. And call him, tell him to watch the game. They gonna be on TV or leave him tickets to the game, and he just was just absent.
Yeah, they hanging beer cans on the Christmas tree. Like, surprised he even had a tree up in there. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
And I mean, they were poor.
Yeah,
The mom died. The dad probably, I mean, as was stated later in the movie, the man in the family won't about nothing for real. So, and Joe was expecting to be that, but it come. I mean, to me, it was like the pressure of being great, along with the pressure of being the one person who actually makes it out, as opposed to just being like everybody else. That pressure got to him, and I wouldn't be surprised, like if they went back and looked at this movie, or maybe even when they wrote it, if they were kind of alluding to mental illness. Not that mental illness was a big thing that people really spoke about
right.
publicly 30 years ago, but I wouldn't be surprised if they looked back at it and said it was a mental illness. And later we see him pretty much, try to commit suicide or at least consider it very thoroughly. So there had to be more to it than just bad bad relationship with his parents. Like it's a bigger deal.
Indeed, indeed. And we started to see the character spiral a little bit. Darnell, more or less, his thing was basically he had to pass a placement test, and so he combined the fact that he had a thing for Autumn and getting her to become his tutor to help pass the test, but also to spend time with her. There's an obvious, situation between her and Autumn's, boyfriend at the time. They both playing the same positions. Like this dude coming to trying to take my position and my girl. And he's younger than both of us. You see, we get Latimer sometimes later in the film. He unfortunately goes to a situation where he's, I guess I don't know if the juice or the roids whatever take over. There's a possible where he tried almost an assault situation. Luckily, the guys were there to stop that. And we had, of course, Kane's situation where Kane, he's just going through a whole lot and he's upset and he ends up in an altercation at a bar. Basically, I think the guy said he was smiling at his girl or whatever, and he pretty much pushed the guy through the wall or through the glass or whatever. And so the coach got a whole lot of cleaning up to do. Like Coach Winters, if you look at, he's at a point now in this situation. My star quarterback who they've started a Heisman campaign for. What am I going to do to, because I can't win without him. I can't have hopes of even saving my job without him. What I'm going to do, basically, he gets a couple of favors and stuff done. He begs a little bit, and instead of pretty much getting him in more trouble that he could have been in, he got him into a facility for a program. I think he's supposed to be in about a month, 28 days, or whatever. He covers up the situation, with Latimer. And what was it? Was it a hamstring? They said. I think it was a hamstring.
Yeah, they said he had a hamstring issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he got suspended for the 3 games for assaulting the young lady. Yes.
Yeah. And then you think about another
No,
mess.
that was crazy. There ain't nowhere in the world.
Exactly. And you think
But
about
you saw the dad though. The dad. They said the dad was a booster.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Ain't nowhere in the world.
Bruh,
Booster, no
that's
booster.
real though.
3
I
games.
mean, I don't doubt
Oh
that
yeah,
that happens
it is.
regularly, especially with that level of if you're a booster, then you
That's
already
the
got some
crazy
bread.
part though. Deep,
So
yeah,
like think about the stuff these coaches really go
that's
through.
crazy.
Like this was even crazier. So what we didn't mention earlier. So how about when so we find out that the backup quarterback is dating the coach's daughter, right? Dating the coach's daughter.
Yeah, he was.
Then she goes in there to take a test form that he's supposed to be taking, gets caught, right? Coach finds out everything. So not only
Bobby Collins.
Bobby Collins, yeah,
Bobby Collins.
oh Bobby, Bobby not only gets kicked off the program and out of school, right? But of course, his daughter does. But the crazy thing is when we see that when Kane has to be away from the team, some of the boosters and everybody are hollering about the supporters are like, let's try to get Bobby back into school. Now come on, dog. This man, you can tell this ain't really about academics, right? You know what I'm saying? This man had somebody else take a test for him, was cheating. Y'all campaigned to get this dude back into school. But this is the thing. I don't know if you
And it
guys have
worked.
thought about this. And it worked. They got him back. But Chauncey, check this out, dog. They managed to get him back. But there's no way the coach's daughter can get back in school.
Yeah, facts.
You think about it. He got back in school and on the team, but the daughter don't get back in school.
Yeah,
She can't play
at all.
quarterback.
But she can't get in school, period, though.
But
She can't play.
that's
What
one of the
quarterback she gonna
things,
play?
like the title.
Yeah.
What can you do for the program? Like that, it really goes around the title of the movie. Like if you can help the program, then they'll find ways to do whatever they got to do. Like the whole panel.
That's what
That
it
man
is.
said, have you ever seen 80,000 people show up for a chemistry experiment? Yeah, it
Exactly.
really is.
That was one of the dopest lines in the whole movie, though. Like, for real. But that's real,
Yeah.
though. I mean, that is real. And we saw during the course of this movie, they played the boosters well, just like in Blue Chips. They played it well. Boosters sliding the cat some money. Remember when they were at the little gathering and the guy slid Darnell a little bit of loot, and he went up to your boy Mac and was like, "Yo, you know what I'm saying? This, we what you doing,
Max said,
man?
let me get that.
Yeah, you can't have no problem getting them ends, bro." Mac didn't have a problem getting them. You don't need to, let me get it. And the comment he made too. Y'all catch the comment he made? He says, he said the money is even more once you start or something.
Yeah. So you'll get a couple hundred once you start, depending on how you play.
Yeah, well, we don't have to. Not that we don't have to worry about that or that's changed for real, but with the NIL, college football is just recently, well, college sports in general are just catching up to what they should have done. I think
Back
a long
in the
time
90s
ago.
or early.
Yeah, and let players get paid off their likeness. While everybody else is getting paid, while the schools are getting paid, the NCAA is getting paid, the players are the only ones that can't get a portion of that and have to struggle on campus, to get the things that everybody else can get because they can get money from wherever.
Yeah, and how'd you guys feel when y'all first saw that situation go down with Latimer, though? I'm not Latimer, with Mac. when the play went down. He obviously got hurt. Did y'all think he was gone right away? Like for good? Before they showed his leg, of course.
Yeah, like it was just like the climax of it. It was like, yeah, he hurt. I ain't know how bad it was gonna be. But like, I didn't even really realize what it was until like I got older. Like I was a kid when this came out, so I didn't understand the severity of it. But then like when I got older, I'm like, ooh, yeah, that ain't good at all. But I know your leg shouldn't be going the opposite way.
That was
With your knee
crazy.
facing one way, your ankle the whole other way. That's negative.
That was crazy. They had that good of cinematography back then.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah. Like how they do that.
Yeah. You do it now, I'd be like, okay, yeah, this, the way they got cameras and cinematography and all these angles and, computer. I can see it now. I'm thinking about back then. Hey, like that back then? Like, that's crazy.
Yes, it was like you
But if you
mentioned, the Lawrence
notice
Taylor.
though, he was the dude, he was the only one that ain't say nothing. Like
True.
he was about that action.
True indeed.
Yeah, because he knew where he was headed. He was headed to the league, or that was the whole goal. That was his only mission. That's all he was worried about, to
Yeah.
get to the bag, and again change his family's trajectory for a bunch of them, for real.
Yeah, it did. So they, what was important, I guess, for Coach Winters and the team was that they were able to, through all the people, not being on the team during certain points, they were able to navigate just enough to stay, within bowl contention, still going into basically the last game of the regular season. They managed to at least, stay afloat, just enough when even when things weren't looking good. And before they got to that last one, that game when they played Georgia Tech, so we see a lot of things go down. Before this, we find out, of course, Kane, Joe, he got out of the facility or whatever. They didn't start him right away. We see during the course of this, when everything's about to get started, Coach Winters he gets both of the running backs together and basically tells Jefferson that he's starting. They move old boy to fullback. I was loving that part. You see dude face. He found out he lost his starting job.
Yeah.
And you got to sit right
Man,
beside you.
don't know what.
Like, man, you spending time with my girl.
He told him earlier though. He told him at the dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told him at the dance. He's like, don't worry, you ain't lost your starting job just yet, boy.
Look, he done took two spots
It
from
was
him.
only a matter of time.
You feel what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He done took two
Right.
spots from him.
He
So,
hurt.
man, that hurt. I don't know what y'all think hurt more, losing the starting running back job or losing Auburn.
I think the girl, because he was in med school, so he didn't care about. I ain't saying he didn't care about football, but that was like secondary to him. But losing your girl to the gangbanger with speed, yeah, that hurt. And he a freshman, he a
Woo!
senior.
And he a freshman, and he
He
took
lost on
your job.
every angle. Yeah, he lost on every angle possible.
He said, "I'll get him back. Let me miss this blocking."
Yeah,
Set him
he
up for
missing
failure.
that
Bruh,
block was crazy.
terrible.
Because you think about, he went from, in this whole situation, man, he went from first string to still first string, but just in a different position. But in the autumn game, he went from first string to not even on the team. You feel me?
The autumn
Man, he
game.
wasn't even on it. He wasn't even mentioned.
It's
That
terrible.
man got cut from life with that one.
Hey, you remember? Hey, you know what's funny though? Y'all remember what was the line that Jefferson had for him? He boy had made a comment to him about something about his tutor and his mathematics, whatever. And he said, "Oh, yeah, I'm on it." He said, "You had 12
Yeah,
carries,
he said
37 yards."
12 carries at 30-something yards. He said, yeah, you caught him on your arithmetic? He
Yeah.
said, yeah, you had 12 carries for 37 yards. Pushed that man halfway across the room.
Yeah.
Look, man, I like that line. Omar was that dude, man. Like Omar Epps, you think about that time
But
period,
look,
huh?
I blame Alvin Mack for that though, because he put the battery in his back
Yeah,
when they were sitting down when he was over there staring at him.
yeah.
Mack hyped him up. He was like, man, Griffin, you're going to medical school. You just a boy toy. And man was like, man said,
Got the
no, now
advanced
you
QC.
got me messed up. And then when Kane asked him, he was like, "You ain't had nothing to do with it." He was like, "No, you know me. I know a good well. You started that all."
It's always that one dude, right? It's always that one dude, your boy. Omar Epps was that dude. As you think about it, y'all ever thought about so Omar Epps, man? So we used to see all the little memes and stuff that go across social media. How he's the first person when he had the D1 scholarship in football and basketball. I guess because
Yeah,
Love Jones, whatever. But have you ever thought about my main man,
Love basketball.
Ollie Berry, Cindy Herring, and Sanaa Lathan, player?
my like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Shout out to Omar Epps, man.
Football,
He definitely
basketball,
winning.
a
He definitely
DJ.
winning.
Yeah. He done been, man, he done been, yeah, football player, basketball player, DJ, street kid, undercover cop. I mean, he done been
Baseball. He's in
baseball.
Major
Yeah.
League too.
Was it Willie Mays? No,
Willie
he was,
Mays
what's
Hayes.
the name?
Yeah, Willie Mays
Was
Hayes. Willie
Yeah,
Willie
Mays
Mays
Willie
Hayes.
Hayes.
Mays Hayes, yeah.
And in real life, if I remember correctly, he was a rapper.
Yeah.
he was
And he ran
he,
track and higher learning.
yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Fire. Yeah, and currently married to one of the girls from Total now. So,
He
yeah.
did it all. Then did it all.
Oh, my. Oh, my. Now, he don't look the same now, though. He done put a little weight on, got a little older. He played 50
We
got him
all get older.
got him on Canaan now. But yeah, shout out to Omar Epps regardless, man. That's
Yeah.
quite an accomplishment.
But it's crazy, they cast a couple of them dudes like that. Because Latimer and Alvin Mack, they both was in Necessary Rough. I
Indeed.
don't know if you remember that.
I do remember
Feather,
that.
Featherstone, and then I forgot
I do remember
forgot
that.
Latimer. He was the lineman.
I remember that.
And so Alvin Mack went from a linebacker to a receiver.
Hey,
I
hey,
never thought about
CP,
that no more. But that's just great right there.
CP. Let me ask you this,
Yo,
while we're not on a specific topic. So near the end of the movie, you see Latimer uh, hit the running back, and the snot bubbles come off. And
not bubble.
Coach mentioned snot bubbles at the beginning of the movie. Have you ever been snot bubbled?
Oh, most definitely. Without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. And
I,
it's not a good feeling.
I got snot bubbled and concussed in flag down in the 757 playing against the Firm after they won their first title. I think it was after they won their first state title. That first,
Back when they beat the Guns.
I don't remember who they beat, but it was the first tournament after that, John. And we're
Okay.
playing them at the beach, and old boy, light skinned tall dude, I forget his name, bald head. Bro was playing safety. He used to be skinny, and now he kind of
Yeah.
big. He was playing safety. I'm running, getting ready to pitch the John. So I'm slowing down, not looking. He's straight. He had already hit me like 5 times during the game. Now one flag was thrown. This man hit me. I remember that. Next thing I remember,
And that's it.
and we were still on the same drive. It was plays later, and it was like spotty. So I remember spottiness. And then
Yeah.
the next thing I actually fully remembered was being on the sideline. We had scored a touchdown, and I was like, "What's happening?" And Big E was like, "We're getting ready to win the game. You don't know what's going on?"
Yeah, that's a terrible feeling.
Go.
I caught a concussion in Florida in flag with 9 man with Cody and them. Bruh. I remember the first half of the game to this day. I don't remember nothing after that. Like the whole second half of the game is like a black spot in my life. I can't never do that joint back ever. And I was rushing. I'm playing defense, but I'm going to put a flag. Dude need me in the head. They said, Steve and them was like, I was on the ground, sleep, snoring.
That's
Yeah, it
crazy.
was bad. First thing Steve said was like, yeah, I ain't calling your wife. Somebody got to call Shannon. I ain't doing it. They knew what time it was. Next thing I remember, I'm sitting on the sideline. Look, Asian dude asking me, do I know where I'm at?
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, this all bad. Cody was like, I asked him like 5, 10 times what happened. He got mad. He was like, man, you ask me again, I'm gonna fight
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Uh,
Hey, So guys, look, we got it. So in this one here, towards the end of the movie, where everything is
That's all bad.
starting to round out. So we got to that big game against, at the end when they still had a chance to make it to a bowl game, right? We see a lot of things happen. Your boy Bobby, he's still starting at quarterback, even though Kane is back, and things don't go so well for them, in this game. Even before the game, we see, Joe Kane. He goes back home. He goes back. He tries to get his, he has to talk to his father. He talks to his father and try to let him know he was going to leave him some tickets for the game, so on and so forth, hoping his dad would at least show up, for his last game of the season, maybe get a chance to see him play. And, then we kind of get to the game. And like I said, we say Bobby starred in this one. Bobby has a horrible first half in this whole, even threw, didn't he throw a pick six in that joint?
Yep.
Threw a pick
Right
six.
before halftime.
Right
Trash bucket.
Time. And then when they were down 10-0, I believe, going into the half. So the defense is still doing their thing, even without your boy in there, without Mac. But so they held on just enough, and they go into the locker room. And when they're in that locker room, of course, we see your boys. They finally get into it. They didn't have enough of each other. Coach come out there trying to figure out what the heck is going on. He upset. He's probably thinking, in the midst of all we're going through, we are this close. I still got a shot. But there's also the chance that it's going to be the last game I'm going to be coaching over here. The scene.
Well, turn it around.
Yeah, what's crazy. This is what's crazy, though. So the scene when he makes a decision, he decides he's going to put Joe Kane in the game, and Joe's going to go in. So Bobby realizes he ain't starting no more, right? Why coach do my man like this? So he's all upset. He comes in and flips the table over all the Gatorade and everything. Throws out the lazy team out, gets upset. As he walking back into his office, he tell Bobby to clean it up.
Bobby better be glad that's all he told him to do. That man got that man's daughter kicked out of school and embarrassed that man's family. Bobby would have got hands put on him.
Yeah. I probably got arrested. I'm going to tell you right now.
Bobby would have got hands.
I'd have got arrested because I'd have killed him. I'm sorry. It's my baby. It's my daughter, man.
Yeah, I'd have had to drag Bobby.
There's a lot of highs and lows in this movie, though. Ups and downs, bad feelings, stuff thrown in your face. But just to imagine that Jesse gotten back on the team, get the job taken from you, and then you got to clean up your Gatorade.
He was like, you got to be kidding me. No, he ain't playing.
But your boy, so we saw the effect that it had on Kane early, though. It's when he gets out there and realizes, his father's not there. And when they first put him back out there, of course, he's not playing well at all, not throwing the ball well, not handling it. Everything is just not going well for him in this. And but things kind of turned around for him. And one of the things that started it was your boy Latimer. They kept him in the game a little bit. So plays went their way. We saw actually that both of the running backs are working together, working well together, catching passes. We got the key blocks in there. But the Latimer hit on 3rd and inches. Of course, it wasn't as big as the Lawrence Taylor joint. I had to go to that in any given Sunday when your boy just smacked the old boy. But it still was a key play in that game. And he's feeling good. The team is hyped. But when they go to the sidelines, man, he looks dead. The coach is trying to congratulate him and thank him, and he's dead in his eye and realize, dang, he been, I don't know how he been passing all these drug tests we done put him on. He's still on his stuff, man. He's still on his stuff.
Yeah, he knew he was still juicing.
Yeah, he's still juicing.
He could see it in his mind.
Yeah. What was y'all thoughts though on him still looking at him and patting him on the helmet when it was over, versus being super upset?
He knew what it was. He knew dude had no chance to be great. He wasn't good enough. That's what he wasn't good enough without the steroids.
Indeed.
So it took the steroids, it took the muscle and the aggression from the steroids in order to make him the football player that he wanted to be, but couldn't be naturally. And the coach was like, I know, man. I know. he feels sorry for him, but he knew he was wrong. But I think he felt sorry for him.
Yeah. How you feel about that, Chauncey? You think the same thing?
Yeah, he pretty much just like accepted it. Like he had to just take it for what it was. Like he knew, especially when you can still see it in his eyes. And he was like, I mean, I get it. It sucked, but also thank you because without that and you, we probably lose this game.
That man's eyes was glowing like a cat.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, and
he was high.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, he was definitely. But like I said, I do like the way they played it out, though. Your boy, Griffin and Donnell. I mean, at the end of the day, they had to put it together, put everything on the back burner, play together. Donnell made a big catch in there. He made a big block in there. Um, and then the play at the end of the game, though, when what was it saying, Charles? I always forget what he said. Let's put the women and kids to bed, right? He said, and go hunting, or what was something like that?
Yeah,
Just go get dinner. You
I'm
know,
looking for dinner.
go looking for dinner. And he makes, Joe makes the big
Yeah,
play. He gives little Johnny Manziel on a little bit, bobbles the ball, get it, runs around a little bit, and he throws it down to find the open man. And it wasn't a receiver; it was actually Donnell. Makes a big catch or whatever. And of course, they go on and win the game. And they're celebrating. Big moment in this one, though. This is what I was alluding to earlier. When everybody's celebrating and they're happy that they won the game, and you look over, everybody's together except for Latimer. And Latimer's sitting on the bench crying, right? So we were talking about earlier about it being about the money or not being about the money. I think it was sort of with him, or at least about the prospects of being able to make it to the next level, become rich, because I think he was actually sitting there crying. It wasn't so much that he felt like he let the coach down. I think it was some more or less that he knows that was the only way that he would ever make it to the next level. And he wasn't going to be able to do that on the next
yeah.
level. I mean, the way they test. That was my
I
feeling.
think he knew that joint was over. He knew that joint was his last game. It wasn't nowhere in the world he was gonna play no more.
Yeah.
The bowl game or nothing.
Yeah.
right, because he was getting kicked off the team, not because he won't go get money in NFL. I
Yeah.
mean, you can look at it how
I,
you
I
want to
think
look at
I
that.
think I think more or less it's because he realized that everything was just over. Period.
Yeah, because we saw money for Joe, we saw money for Alvin, we saw money for Darnell. They never mentioned money about this man. So all the poor people we saw,
Mm-hmm.
there was no mention of money. So nothing about this to me. There's nothing that it makes it even. Nothing of this makes me even think of money at all. Like there's nothing to do with money in my personal opinion.
Well,
It's
to
about
me,
him playing football.
well, I just think he realized the future was over. Beyond that's just my personal feeling. That beyond exactly, yeah, he couldn't really do anything else that we know of as portrayed that he could. I just think he just realized any dream. He fought all that to get from special teams. He made it known at the beginning of the movie that he wanted to be a starter, and I think he believed that being a starter was going to lead. With that body and the recognition he could get, that he could actually lead to bigger things for him. That's what I think, and it just ain't happened that way. Yeah, it actually started to sink in.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We also get to see good morning between Kane and Coach Winters, that they kind of look at each other. A little bit later, Kane thanks him, and I think they both realize, well, look, we've done something big. Next year I can get back on the Heisman campaign again, and Coach, you're gonna be back for another year.
Yeah.
So I think it's basically, it was a mutual feeling between the both of them. They
It's
both
up
were
and
kind
up.
of happy and relieved. Yeah. So
I think the movie came full circle with the ending
you think so?
because if you notice the beginning, the opening scene, they played Georgia Tech, threw the ball to the running back, he drops it.
Yeah.
The ending, they played Georgia Tech, throws the ball to the running back, the new
Caught it.
running back, he catches it.
Man, I like that.
So it's like it went complete circle in my opinion, and it was like there was a similar play. He scrambled and he just kind of threw it up. I mean, one was in double coverage and the other one down there just made a great play. It was a great ball too because he threw it over the safety's head.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. You gonna say some source?
Yeah. No, I lost it. I lost my train of thought.
And one moment I did like though when they were leaving directly after the game when Jefferson and all them were leaving, they ran to her dad, which we found out earlier was a was a real good football player at the university. Where he walks up to the dad and like he had his placement test with him. Like you in a game and you had your
Yeah.
placement test with him, and he gives it to Autumn's
But see,
father.
her dad said that's what he did. He
Yep,
said he used to put it in the wear of his helmet to remind him of
he
where he was
did.
going. So
He
he
did.
got it from him. And it was more or less to show him that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I am a football player, but, I'm trying, like, I'm not just that. Like, I got dreams of being more than just that. Because he scored a higher
That's
score
higher.
on his placement test than her
At
dad did.
89 and Pops had an
Yeah.
87. Yeah.
So I believe Coach Winter said you had an 87. I'll kill him.
And you talk about going full circle, even off the field. So we know we got to know Joe Kane is kind of a, off the field, it's kind of a live wire, kind of a loose cannon for a lot of reasons. And when he goes back, to try to come after, the young lady, I forget her name in the movie. I think it was Carrie, I believe. But anyway, that he had been after early in the film. It was definitely liking him. She kind of turned her back on him a little bit because she realized what it was. He was out of control. He had a lot of issues to work through. And then towards the end of the movie, they started talking. And when they started talking, she's kind of wondering, he's okay, but I'm going to kind of let this go. And he asked her, they want to go out for a six pack or have a six pack with him. And she has a quick moment as if like, well, he let me down again. He hasn't learned. But then we come to find out it's a six pack of Sprite. So we assume that everything ends up being okay with the two of them. Looks like she's happy, and this kind of comes full circle too, because he's kind of seems like he's pretty much accepted the fact that the relationship is his father doesn't just not going to be any more than what he is. Maybe I need to keep things in perspective. Get my life together. I gotta still have a chance of having a bright future and making money and leaving all the bad stuff behind.
And he cut ties with him. I think he told his dad he wouldn't see him again if he didn't come to that game.
Yeah, he said something like
come
that.
to that
Yeah.
game. So it might have been a fresh start for him.
Yeah, well, hopefully it was. Like I say, he was coming back on another Heisman campaign, we assume. So it is what it is. Anybody got any final thoughts on this movie before we get to the ratings?
I just want to mention that, and what was his name? Autumn. Autumn said, "Gee whiz, Darnell." That's all I want to say.
So, really good movie in my opinion. So we're gonna start with Chauncey. So five drink scale. What's your favorite drink? Chauncey, well, you maybe can't hear me. We'll come back to Chauncey. So, there you go.
Yeah.
Chauncey, can you hear me? Yeah,
Barely.
barely. Can you hear us? Well, Source, we'll go to you. Source, how many beers you giving this movie, bro?
I want to be last, man. I want to be last because I know
You want to be
mine
last?
will be. Yeah.
All right, Chauncey, can you hear us?
CP.
He have his problems probably coming through. So I say this. For me, I mentioned early in the movie that I loved the movie. I didn't mean to say love. I liked the movie. And even watching it now, going back, I realize I'm pretty even on how I feel about it versus when I hadn't seen it in a long time and decided to go back and watch it. So
Right.
on a 5 beer scale for me, I'm gonna give it 3 beers. It's just a 3 beer movie for me, which means I definitely like the movie. I'm not stacking it or putting it anywhere near any of the super good or really great ones. But for what it was in that time period, we had some good acting. We had some not so good acting. But anytime you can get a legend like a James Caan in there, a couple of other people, it's bound to be at least good. So for me, I'm giving it 3 beers out of 5. Sound
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right.
Sean, so what's your favorite drink or type of drink?
I'm a bourbon drinker, so I go a
My
Kentucky
man,
Mule.
my man. All right, that's some good stuff,
If he say 5 bourbons, he'd be passed out.
right? Johnson, how many shots of bourbon we give in this movie, man?
See, it's tough for me though, because like honestly, like this is probably one of my favorite football movies. Like
Okay,
I go back and forth between this and Any Given Sunday.
fair enough.
So I'm gonna go at least four and a half.
Okay.
You want to go 4.5? Stop playing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 4.5. Get that extra half a pour in there.
You know how we do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I like that. I like that. So we got unlike our last, I think, running back source, we got kind of a wide one here as far as
Yeah.
our feelings already. We ain't even got to you yet. I think last one was the closest one I think we had out of any of them when we did, with Lamar. So
Yeah.
what you got, bro?
Well, you know what? I I'll tell you, I've been at a 3.5. I've been at a 3.5 until probably 2 minutes ago, because I don't really think I considered the fact that this was an early movie about college sports. And of course, somebody got to start it out. Somebody got to lead the way. It's not like it
the
was a lot of
trailblazer.
movies about college sports and to be this detailed. It's kind of like remember Playmakers on ESPN?
The
Yeah,
show. Yeah, yup.
So, but it was short-lived
had the
because
boxing.
of, it was telling too much, really.
Yeah,
It was short-lived,
NFL cut that joint quick.
right? But it was the early joint. So we really don't know how good that joint could have been, but nobody mentions it. It's kind of like this movie. Nobody really mentions it. Generally talking about sports movies. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and bump it up. I'm gonna give it another quarter. I'm gonna go 3.75.
Oh,
3.75.
the gentleman's pour.
Yeah. Had to bump it up a
But
little bit
look,
because it didn't have anything to base itself off of. So it was
right.
going in there blind.
Quick question: do y'all remember that deleted scene from the movie though?
Which one?
So, and it's not even in the director's cut. You gotta YouTube it or Google it. When the movie was first made, it's a scene right when they go to the bar, right when Donald Jefferson and them they go to the bar, where Joe Lee first. He go outside and lay in the middle of the street, like on the yellow lines,
Oh,
and cars are going past him. I'll send it to both of
yes,
y'all.
yes.
So like it's in their very original movie. It's in the movie, but then some kids tried it and either got killed or got hurt real bad, and they took it out.
I forgot about that.
To delete it. Like, but if you YouTube it or Google it, it'll pop up. But it ain't even in the director's cut or none of that.
I forgot about that. It's true. It was in the original movie.
Yeah,
I remember when that's one thing I remember when I first saw the movie theater. That scene was in it. And I would never thought about it anymore till you brought it up. But that is true.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's not on the regular DVD or anything now.
You can't. You got to YouTube it. That's the only way you gonna find it.
Yes.
So all of them do it. Is Joe, the first one, and then I think Collins go out there, but it's literally Collins, Latimer, Mack, Bud Light, Kaminsky, and Donald Jefferson. All of them go out there, lay in the middle of the road, and there's traffic going past them on both sides.
Yes.
Wow.
Never seen that source?
Wow. It does. I don't remember that.
I remember if you go back years ago, and I wouldn't have thought of it no more until he brought it up. But it was years ago. I remember it got to be such a big deal. They were talking about it like on maybe Today's Show or something.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was like real controversial. It was on a couple of talk shows and everything. Yeah. The next thing you know, they started pulling it off of
everything
of it because they were because kids, it was videos of some kids actually trying it. Yeah, they was afraid of yeah, but that's dope right there. And but since Chauncey mentioned bourbon, because he mentioned bourbon, I gotta give me a shot of bourbon. So I'm gonna tweak it just a little bit. I'm gonna leave it at the 3, but I'm gonna give me a shot of bourbon in there too. I got to do it. Matter of fact, that may be the drink of choice in these fantasy drafts I got this evening. But I'm getting my head right.
Man, you're gonna have You're gonna have Todd Collins.
He gonna
You're
have
gonna have Mike Quick on your squad.
Be to mess around and drafted daggone Wilbur Montgomery. I mean, I don't know. He hate
Martin Mayhew. You're gonna have Martin Mayhew on the squad.
I told you I got the college joint too, and I been took Colt McCoy as somebody. I mean, you know it. You ain't even on it.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's good stuff. Look, so before we fold up, so John, I heard you mention it's one of your favorite movies. You said between that and Any Given Sunday, right?
Yeah.
In your scale of movies, and you ain't necessarily got to rate the movie, but let's just say is Friday Night Lights anywhere in your top 5?
Yeah, Friday Night Lights is. I like Friday Night Lights.
Love that.
See, a lot of people put Remember the Titans in there, and it's a good movie, but being that it's based on a true story, and they added and took away so much stuff to make it for theatrical purposes.
Yeah.
That's the only reason it's not as high, in my opinion, as it is in others. Like they changed so much of the real story that it made it a good movie, but it's not, it's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah, I agree. One thing about I agree with you. I agree, and I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love that movie. Like I can watch it a million times. But for Facebook purposes or social media purposes, when it's one of those things where they give you a choice to pick the movies on this list, if it's on it, I'm gonna pick it. But when you really talk to me about football movies, I honestly, it's a football movie, but I don't put it in my list of football movies. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm saying we're here.
If you talking about movies I love, like, oh, I love the movie. It's awesome. But
But
you
it's
know,
not,
at
as far as
least with
football for what it is,
and what you brought up about them changing stuff, I agree. Now, at least with Friday Night Lights, they did change and tweak some things, but it was nothing that was that far off. The movie was what it was.
Yeah,
At least in that movie, who they were playing, some of the stuff that happened to the players, they might have changed their championship game from a semifinal or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it. But for the most part, outside of one or two players might have played a different position, but it's real history there. It's real history there. Matter of fact, it's like one of my, I got to, even the book. I've read the book. I probably read the book 6, 7 times. Like, I love the book, itself. But the movie is awesome. So we still haven't done that. So I know football coming. So I don't know if we're gonna wait till next season or sneak one in. But we got to do my movie at some point.
On Friday Night Lights.
Yes, sir. Love that.
Yeah, it's a classic, man. Like it's a good movie. And then I like the fact that they put the real Boobie Miles in the movie.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like they really did numbers with that one.
Indeed. You want to win? Put Boobie in. Let me spin.
He can throw it. He can do everything.
yes. We're gonna have to get that in there, man. So I don't know. So we might not be able to wait. We might got to figure something. But anyway, it's gonna get done. Whenever we do it, it's gonna be the next football movie. Whenever it gets done. So
yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah, indeed. But look, y'all, appreciate it. This was great. We finally got to do this movie we've been talking about for a while. That is the program. And this is another episode of Run It Back. I had a great time. CP, thanks for you coming through, man. That was awesome. We got to do this again. And you got any parting words for the folks?
Appreciate y'all, man. Look forward to it. Keep doing what y'all doing.
Appreciate you. Source. What's good? Anything for the people?
Nah, nothing.
My guy.
Till next time, Sports Bar Podcast. Run It Back. We out.
Yes.